Joe, you've played many times on this pitch. Difficult conditions today. It's a swirling wind.
I think so, yeah. I think the wind's picked up considerably. It's blowing straight in the middle of the field. It tends to do that here at Central Park. But I think the conditions mainly will be affected by the ground. It's took a lot of rain over the last couple of days, and the ground's been hard to get it ready for today's game. But I do think it will cut up.
It's held up very well on Thursday night. I saw you play against Leeds in the replay Thursday night. Obviously, will it suit Halifax, do you think?
I think it will. It's a bit of a leveler today. Halifax have been playing well, but it will bring the pace down a slight gear. And I think it will suit Halifax's performance.
And Joe, dare I put you on the spot? Who would you be looking for a victory here today?
I think it'll be very close. Obviously, semi-final, it's going to be a tight game. I think the team that uses the conditions the best, the wind and kicks for field position. St Helens have Paul Loughlin, he has a great kicking foot on him, so they'll be looking to use him.
Well, there's no doubt about it. This man here, John Doherty at the front, the Australian player coach for Halifax. He's used to these conditions, had a spell with Hulkinson Rovers. I spoke to him yesterday and he rather fancied himself for a victory. The Eddie Riddleston on the wing, the two coloured wingers for Halifax, Wilf George and Eddie Riddleston, been scoring quite a lot this year, and Brendan Hill, the big 18.5-stone prop forward. I'm sure we'll see a lot of that lad pounding down the middle. Another player there, Colin Whitfield, in the centre of our screens, Joel. You'll have played with him here at Wigan, won't you?
That's right, yeah, another great kicker. He'll be looking to use this wind if they get it in the first half, get field position, and also if they get a few shots at goal, I'm sure they'll be looking for a couple of points.
And St Helens team skippered by Phil Vevers in the unlikely spot of loose forward, normally full back because of injuries. And Alan Hunt, the youngster, we saw a hat-trick of tries in that first round. George Mann, the Kiwi prop. And one lad there, Jonathan Griffiths. I'm sure all St Helens fans sat at home watching us on grandstand will be delighted to see him reappearing again. No signs of coach Alex Murphy, but I'm sure he's had plenty to say in the dressing room. A team really, Joe, St Helens, who like top-of-the-table conditions, don't they?
They do, yes. They suit the big game, the big atmosphere. They have the players that can score from anywhere on the field. They'll be looking for a win today and to go through to that final.
And the good news, as we saw there with the players leading out, that Jonathan Griffiths, the ex-Connettley and Welsh scrum half's fit, but Halifax have also got their lads fit. Tony Anderson, the captain, he's had hamstring problems, but he's back at centre, and a very strong pack. I expect the threat from Halifax to come from those two props, Brendan Hill, Johnston and Les Holliday there at number 13. But as I said, the good news for St Helens that Jonathan Griffiths, the ex-Connettley and Welsh scrum half, he's been declared fit this morning, and an injection has apparently cleared up the pelvic pain that he's had. And George Mann, the Kiwi prop, he's recovered from his ankle ligament problem. So St Helens getting a little bit back to fitness. And there is Jonathan Griffiths. Many viewers remember this lad signing for St Helens on grandstand at the Premiership final last season. Suffered a lot of injuries since his conversion, but he's certainly played well since he came in. It's interesting, Joe, Ellery Hanley also suffered a pelvic strain, had his first game on Thursday night. Did he come through it well?
He did, he was fine after the game. Obviously he found it a little difficult, I think, readjusting to playing after such a long layoff. But he came through it well. Everybody was pleased with his performance, and he'll kick on from there and carry on with the team next week.
Yep. But heavy conditions for anything like a groin strain. So, ready to get this first semi-final in this Regal Trophy underway. And it's Mr. Kershaw again. We saw him with the Wigan Leeds match last Saturday, getting quite a handful of top games this season. Schoolmaster from Easingwold. So, St Helens to kick to the cop end. No fancy new design of jerseys for Halifax. Traditional Yorkshire colours, the blue and white hoops. And there is that man already, Brendan Hill. Quite a fearsome character to tackle, Joe.
Yes, I'm sure the St Helens backs will hope that he'll be keeping most of the tension in the forwards. If he does do any skirmishes out wide, they'll be wanting to cut him down quickly, stop his momentum.
And already Halifax using this big pack, the short passes. Whitfield. Well picked up by David Tanner. Having a very good season, this lad. Was on the transfer list last year at £20,000, but now playing so well, skipper Phil Beavers recommended that Alex Murphy take him off the list. George Mann. Not the biggest of props, very strong, squat Kiwi. Forber. Bateman. Halifax defeated 2 First Division sides already in this competition, Salford and Featherstone, along with Fulham. I think that's one of the problems, Joe, with this swirling wind and a greasy ball.
Yeah, saw an early drop ball there. St Helens have tried to use it early on. They've tried to get the ball out wider, test Halifax in the backs. But they're trying it, as you saw, a drop ball.
That's a good pass. And that's a better one. Oh, Halifax here in full flow. Seamus McCallion, he's over. That's a good try. It was the inter-pass. Well, no, he's given touch. Well, I think that will be very interesting when we have a look at the replay. Certainly, Seamus McCallion felt that he'd scored the Halifax hooker, but the touch judge didn't.
Well, a great ball, capitalised on the mistake. McCallion went down the wing there. I thought it was a perfectly good try. Yes, it looked to me as if he was in the corner.
Well, certainly from that evidence it looked to try, but of course we didn't see 2 or 3 yards further back, Joe, did we?
That's right.
So St Helens breathe again, but many have said that St Helens would have no difficulty against a second division side, especially a side 8th in the second division, but I think most people in the game look upon Halifax as a true first division side, and I think they'll certainly be bidding for promotion at the end of this year. So Saints now need just to settle this game down, keep it tight, get themselves back into the game, just to get over that shock. George Mann. Young Connolly. And I think St Helens were expecting young Connolly to kick there. He's only 18 years of age, this lad. Went with the British Amateur Rugby League side to Australia. Lachlan. Both sides, no strangers to a semi-final in the Regal Trophies, and Helens' 8th appearance and Halifax's 3rd semi-final appearance. Eddie Riddlesden. And I think already, as you said, Joe, we can see that pitch cutting up.
That's right, it does look very wet out there.
To Forber, but a knock-on referee, Mr. Kershaw, not allowing advantage. Tommy Frodsham, number 6 there, just showing his dissent about that. I think he wanted advantage to have been played, but at least he should have the advantage of the scrum. Head and ball to Jonathan Griffiths. And this is always a very difficult area for a rugby union scrum half coming in, Joe, isn't it?
Yeah, the rules are slightly different, and more than the rules, it's the styles of the scrums. It is a bit of a grey area in rugby league, and one I think that needs to be tidied up a little bit, but I think he'll cope with it well.
Well, a penalty there too. St Helens, and it looks like Paul Grove's already in some problem. Good kick by Paul Lachlan. I think Paul Grove will be okay. I think a twist of the knee as he was hooking that ball. So St Helens' first attack, Bateman. Good signing, this lad from Hunslet. And the touch judge is on already. Mr. Lloyd obviously spotted an off-the-ball incident. And yes, a word with experienced prop Lindsay Johnston. Very silly to be giving points away, or possibility of points away in these early stages. Lindsay Johnson, South Sydney. one of Halifax's 3 Australian player quota. So, kick for Paul Loughlin. These look easy, Joe. You've kicked enough on this ground, but there is a very difficult swirling wind here, isn't there?
I've missed a few as well, Ray. The wind is right behind him at this moment. I think Paul should have no trouble slotting this one over.
So, Loughlin looking to put the first points on the board. And he does. So, 2 points to 0 for St Helens. St Helens get over that early scare, that McCallion disallowed try. 2 points to 0 in the lead. Halifax, as I said, relegated from Division 1 last season, but a great record in recent seasons under their Australian coaches. Ray Meady, Anderson, Ross Strudwick, and now player coach John Doherty. Forber. "16 stone, this lad, Paul Forber, local St Helens player from the Thatcher Heath Amateur Rugby League Club." Tommy Frodsham. Well, that was adventurous, but well picked up by Halifax. Les Holiday. Doherty. That's a good pass to Hetherington, but he couldn't take it. Gary Hetherington there. Very strange to see a centre wearing a scrum cap, but he had a bad fracture of the cheekbone some seasons ago in Australia, and now wears it for protection. Griffiths again to feed the scrum. Well, I can see why you said 1 or 2 grey areas in the scrum, Joe.
That's right, and as I said, he did that well. He picked that one up without it going in, I think.
And I was saying rugby union scrum halves don't learn. So, St Helens then, in possession. Phil Vevers. Roy Haggerty. Saints coach Alex Murphy had a lot of problems with the St Helens pack. Quite a few injuries on his hands. Shane Cooper, of course, the loose forward, still out. George Mann. That's a good run, powerful run by this stocky Kiwi prop. Had a good tour of this country in October with the New Zealand side. Griffiths. Frodsham to Loughlin. A hurried kick. And I think he's had a knock after that kick, but referee Kershaw having nothing about it, and now it's a handover. Of course, when the ball kicked into touch, direct on the 6th tackle, handover to the opposition. Holiday, that's a good pass to Lyons. Well, I think Mr. Kershaw's given a penalty to Halifax for an off-the-ball incident, tugging at a player's jersey. No messing about here from Mr. Kershaw. And I think well worth a shot, Joe, from Colin Whitfield.
Definitely. Chance to get equal now, 2 points. Colin knows his field well. He'll know where the wind blows. I used to play here with Wigan. He'll be looking for the 2 points here.
44 goals this season, Colin Whitfield, the record point scorer here with 298 at Halifax. But these early indiscretions, very often worth punishing with these goals. Surprising how these penalties can prove crucial at the end. So, Whitfield looking to level the scores. 12 yards in from touch. It looks well struck, but no, I think that wind just floated it out there, so still the same score. St Helens 2, Halifax 0, and the one chance from Whitfield gone begging. And a dropout on the 25. Well, imaginative there by Loughlin, looking to regain possession. The ball has to go 10 yards, but well picked up by McCallion. Hetherington. Holiday. That's a good ball to Bell. Well, I think St Helens thought he'd passed it then. Notice John Doherty here, this player coach, number 6, going to acting half-back position, directing everything, putting the short passes down the middle to these forwards. This typical Halifax style of play, Joe.
It is, yes, but they are playing attractive football. I mean, with Doherty in the middle, along with Holiday, they control the game.
Well, poor Gary Connolly there, flattened by 18.5 stone Brendan Hill, the number 8 there in our picture. You wouldn't think that this lad was in the production Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs on Thursday night at Halifax, and he played bashful in the Dwarfs, but he certainly wasn't bashful there.
Gary had his eye on it all the way, but it was hit well by Hill there.
I think the point regarding that there, Joe, was that he was within the 5-yard barrier, wasn't he? You must stay 5 yards off.
That's right. If you're in front of the kicker, you cannot tackle the player with the ball until he has moved 5 yards.
So a let off again for St Helens. Roy Haggerty to Bateman. And there's no doubt that these Halifax forwards are driving in, really going into the tackle. Touch judge there, Mr. Turgoose, having to come on the field to separate Bateman and I think it was Holiday. And I think we've got used to seeing one side with 13 and one side with 12. Surely these players will realise that the referees mean business this season. And it's Mr. Bashful of the Seven Dwarfs, it's Brendan Hill. He wants a good game here today, Brendan Hill. He wants to impress the Great Britain coach, Mal Reilly. He's very keen to get onto the New Zealand tour at the end of the season. And how would you like to tackle him, Joe? You must have had a few times.
Well, at 8.5 stone, Ray, I don't think he's by any stretch of imagination a dwarf.
So, Saints in possession. A lot at stake for these two sides. £28,000 prize money to the winners. The losers today will have to be content with $8,250. 14 minutes gone. St Helens 2 points to 0, and that was really a silly penalty for St Helens, leaning on it to play the ball. And really, Joe, in a semi-final like this, it's discipline which wins these games, isn't it?
It is. A penalty here and there can be all the difference. A little bit of tension early on, and as you've seen, a few drop balls and a few silly penalties.
And relief again. Let's Holiday to put to touch. Signed from Swinton a couple of seasons ago, £65,000, a bargain buy by today's prices. Good run by Lyons. Riddlesden. Doherty again, that first receiver. Holiday. That's a good ball to Bell. Hetherington driving in there. A big lad, 6'1", used often as a forward. Smith, Doherty again. Riddlesden, that's not a bad kick. It puts pressure on Alan Hunt. Two youngsters together there. Oh, that's good play from Hunt. We saw him score a hat-trick against Hull Kingston Rovers. He's only 19. George Mann. Very powerful pop forward, this lad, Joe, isn't it?
Very powerful, runs tremendously well onto the ball.
Two points to nil for St Helens at this stage. I think a typical score, Joe, at this stage of a semi-final.
You can't expect a lot of points on the board yet. It's early in the game. Both teams have tried to throw it about a bit though and score. I think you've seen the likes of John Dorahay and Holiday for Halifax doing these runarounds and trying to bring their backs into it.
And I think it will be interesting to see which team tires in the second half, won't it?
Well, conditions also have an effect on that. If the ground does cut up and this wind persists, then one team could tire easily.
Mr Kershaw there insisting that we either get proper scrums or he's going to give a penalty. The judging there that the Halifax side have no intentions of packing down. Forward, the switch to Haggerty. Vivas. Groves. To Griffiths. He'll be as well to hold. Oh, that's a good ball to Frodsham. It's still going. Connolly. Well, was Paul Forber knocked out of the way there before he could get that ball? Not, says Mr Kershaw, and Riddlesden very, very sensibly taps it to himself. Johnston. And I just get the feeling that these big Halifax forwards causing problems. There goes one of them. Brendan Hill. Good tackle by Tony Kay there. Offside. This should present a comfortable kick for Whitfield. And I don't think Colin will have any hesitation but to go for goal. Just approaching 19 minutes gone in this first half. Colin Whitfield eager to get his name on the score sheet. 44 goals already in the Halifax colours this year. Used to these conditions at Central Park, used to play for Wigan, gauged it well, it's through the middle, 2 points, so all square now. St Helens 2, Halifax 2. And Saints, Joe, I think having problems with this pack, aren't they? They're not breaking it down.
No, Halifax are playing well in the forwards. They're running it hard at them and then trying to bring their backs into use after the third, say, or fourth tackle.
St Helens like to move the ball about, like to throw the ball to the wings. But Halifax cutting down the options. Peter Bell. Johnston. To McCallion. Ex-mould green amateurs lad, this number 9 McCallion, one of the few Irish men in the game. Just managed to keep the ball in play. Every kick, of course, in rugby league must bounce in field before going into touch. Griffiths. Knockout. And was there any need for that? No, I don't think so. John Doherty upset by that. Really a needless penalty. It would have been Halifax's head and ball, really, and he's grinning to himself, he knows. A rush of blood.
I think both teams must remember, Ray, that this is a semi-final, and I think the team that will win it is the one that makes the least mistakes.
Yes, penalty. A penalty there. A good decision by referee Kershaw on Tommy Frodsham. A technicality, yes, but a very, very sound decision. Both sides at the play the ball must be back 5 yards. And we saw there, Joe, Tommy Frodsham just standing a couple of yards away from the Acton half-back with his hands in the air. But you can't do that now. That's
right, you must retreat. A lot of players have been getting away with it, actually, standing up and doing runarounds and stuff like that. But now you have to retreat that 5 yards.
Yeah. So both sides there guilty of silly, stupid indiscretions. 2-point seats. Johnson to Hill. These two big prop forwards working well. These two sides, great rivals, of course, ever since the Wembley defeat of St Helens by Halifax by 19 points to 18 a couple of seasons ago. And a forward pass. Griffiths lost the ball. Good play there by John Lyons. Johnston. Still going, McCallion. To Smith. What a fine game this lad's having, this number 7. John Lyons. 7 yards from the St Helens line. 2 points each. McCallion again to Riddlesden. Now then, will McCallion go on his own? No. Doherty. The 6th tackle. Doherty again to Hill. Oh, almost an interception by Kay, but not quite. The knock on. And number 15 coming on there, the big 6'4" John Harrison. But a big blow, I think, for Saints. George Mann, the Kiwi prop, going off, Joe. He looked dangerous, didn't he?
He did. He was cutting them down the middle earlier on. I don't know what's wrong with him, but he will be missed.
Well, he's had ankle trouble the last couple of weeks, so it could be a recurrence. But it's all Halifax at the moment. Doherty to Anderson. Wolf George coming in from the opposite wing. 16 tries this season, this big Halifax left wing. Holiday looks for support to Hill. Now then, the bulldozer they call this lad in Halifax. 2 yards from the Saints line. Doherty. Whitfield to Hetherington. Oh, he's clear. He's in, but no try. Referee Jerry Kershaw adjudged that there was a crossing there, obstruction, and so second disallowed try for Halifax down this left wing. But Mr. Kershaw's whistle was to his mouth immediately. He'd no hesitation.
A good decision, I think, no, Ray. He was clearly obstructed here from tackling the man. St Helens had been defending well, and as you see, a crossing play.
So St Helens again in possession, taking the tap very, very quickly. Phil Vevers having to play out of position at loose forward. Shane Cooper, the Kiwi skipper for St Helens, under suspension. John Harrison, very tall lad in Second rows don't usually come so tall in rugby league. That's a good ball to Forber. Couldn't get it away, and very, very sensibly elected to hold on, and it's a penalty. I think John Lyons very, very craftily holding on there. I think he sensed danger. The Halifax pack hadn't got back, but he could sacrifice 2 points if Paul Loughlin's trusty boot is on form. A lot of silly niggling around the play of the ball, Joe.
It is, it's a little scrappy at the moment. I think John Lyons was just trying to bide a bit of time for his forwards to get back and get in a defensive line and sort it out. But giving a penalty away, and as you say, Paul, if he's on form, could put 2 points on the board.
It's not the easiest of kicks, though, is it? I mean, this wind, is it the regular Central Park wind here, or...?
It is, it usually blows straight out the middle of the field, but as you get towards the post, it tends to swirl with the stand arrangements. So it's not always as easy as it seems.
So he's got to allow for that then, Joe?
Yes, just a little bit.
So, the second attempt. Has he allowed for it? Well, no. Touch judge's signal there that it swirled away at the last minute. It is a difficult to win here at Central Park. Difficult to kick goals. And still, Halifax 2, St Helens 2. Just 13 minutes to go in this first half. Frodsham. Again, that ball being forced out with the strength of that tackle. To Bateman. That's a good run, but he's lost it. One pass too many, and time again St Helens are losing this ball, John, about the second or third tackle.
I think both teams have been guilty of it, actually. It's trying to release the ball there in the tackle for backing up. There it is again. Oh, a penalty. Well,
that's a penalty. Paul Groves looks in amazement. Paul Forber looks disgusted there. But it's still a penalty to Halifax. Obviously, referee Jerry Kershaw had adjudged that the tackle had been made. And I'm afraid, Paul, you can't rip the ball out of a player's grip if the whistle is gone. And that nearly decapitated you, Joe.
Well, yeah, I nearly caught that. I wasn't expecting it, but nearly got it.
As long as you don't knock on.
I think Halifax will be looking to just settle it down here, take a few drives in.
And that's exactly what they do. Johnson. These forwards gaining 5-10 yards every time. Forward pass. And a scrum. Both those two second rows there, the black herd lads for Halifax, Bell and Milner, getting through a lot of work. That's a good heel for Griffiths. Frodsham, but good cover there, good cover by Hetherington there in the scrum cap. There he is again. Very rarely, as I said, see a centre with a scrum cap. I think I can probably only remember one before your day, an Australian called Trevor Allen, who used to play with Lee. He used to wear a scrum cap.
It might not be too fashionable, Ray, but if it helps the lad, then, you know, why not?
Right. That's right. That's a good ball from Frodsham. Connolly now then, can he get Hunt away? No. Good tackle. Well read by John Doherty. Good standoff play there, moving along behind the first line of defence. Loughlin. Riddlesden. Again, this relentless driving forward from this Halifax pack. Johnson with Hill in support. Holiday, the short ball. Hunt. Good battle between these two youngsters there, Riddlesden and Alan Hunt. Neither giving each other much room. Loughlin. And another lost ball for St Helens. Well picked up by Lyons. And really, Joe, St Helens not really developing any attacks because of this, are they?
No, they're not getting any momentum at the moment, Ray. Losing too many balls, still in mistakes. And I don't think they're using the wind well enough.
You mean you will be kicking more?
Well, I think so, yeah. They've got to get down the field, get field position, get a good chasing team and try and pin Halifax down in the line for the last 10 minutes.
Johnson. McCallion again. Now then, he's got Whitfield outside him. But Groves is with him. Good covering back there by the St Helens hooker. Well, a penalty, yes, and I think it's very harsh. Brendan Hill wanted a very, very quick, fast play of the ball. He knew that St Helens were out of position, and he pushed Paul Groves over.
A great brave by McCallion. He's looking for his support here. Gets an inside ball to Colin Whitfield, and a great tackle from Paul Groves. Paul's obviously holding him down a little bit, but it was a superb tackle. Brendan Hill comes in trying to speed things up.
Yes, technically it warranted the penalty, Joe, but I think it was within the spirit of the game for Hill to try to move him out of the way. But Roy Haggerty now, St Helens pounding back. And Haggerty wanted to get the game going quickly. And another penalty. Surely these players should realise that Mr Kershaw, he'll stand no messing at the play the ball. We've already had 4 or 5 penalties in this half for interference with players who are marking, interference with players who are playing the ball.
Well, I think Alex Murphy will have something to say about this at half-time. They're just going to get the ball back here, put a bit of pressure on Halifax, and another penalty. And it just gives the ball straight back to Halifax, turns the tables around.
So, Riddlesden again. Still just those 2 goals, the 5th minute penalty goal to Loughlin and then the 18th minute penalty goal to Whitfield, 2 points each. A scrappy game, but lots of passion out there. Dorahy, good switch to Hetherington. Taking a long time, this number 4, to settle down into British Rugby League, but playing well now. Johnson. No prisoners being taken out there this afternoon. McCallion to Hill. Just look at this big lad go. That's a good pass from Hill. And that's a good tackle. Good tackle by those 2 youngsters, Gary Connolly and Hunt on Riddlesden. But what a superb ball from Brendan Hill.
Yeah, the powerhouse again here, up the right-hand side. He's in the backs, you see. It takes a couple to bring him down. It pops a beautiful ball out. Good tackle by Connolly, though.
And St Helens come away with the ball. Bateman. Bateman, this ex-Hunslet player at prop, looks to be one forward who could make the vital break for Saints. That's a good ball to Tony Kay. Now then, he's got some space. He's got Tanner looking for him. He's got it away. Still to Tanner. A better ball now to Tommy Frodsham. To Connolly. To Forber. This is good rugby, but a forward pass. Well, Mr Kershaw was up with play. He's given a forward pass. Les Holliday and Paul Groves laughing together.
Well, beautiful play from St Helens, showing their ability to run the ball from any part of the field. Gets up again here, inside ball. Really throwing it around, and I think the referee there, he gave a decision. He's nearer than we are. He was on the ball.
And this is the one, Joe, isn't it now?
That's the one. I took him here, it didn't look all like a forward pass.
It didn't look like a forward pass to me, but As you said, Joe, there's no doubt about it, the referee's near the spot. So Steve Smith coming on then for Colin Whitfield. Utility back, this lad, Steve Smith. But that attack, Joe, really showed us the type of football that St Helens like to play when they get the opportunity, don't they?
That's right. Conditions may not be conducive for that today, but they certainly like to throw the ball around, and as you say, that's just what they did there, and went the full length of the field.
So at least both sides possibly got some grounds for discussion. The McCallion try that was disallowed, and the possibility of the Paul Forber one there. Steve Smith getting his first touch of the ball. Johnson getting through a lot of work here at first receiver, this ex-South Sydney prop. Holiday to Bell. Oh, good. Well, good dummy by Holiday. Just couldn't get the kick away. 3 minutes ago, I think both sides looking for a vital breakthrough for half-time. Frodsham. That's a good ball to Forber. Looking dangerous for Paul Forber. When he gets a half break, he can show a fine turn of speed. This big St Helens forward. Frodsham again. It's a good pass to Kay. Now then, he's escaped the clutches again. He's looking for the support on his outside. He's electing to go himself. Oh, no, he's not. No. Eddie Riddleston did well. He came across and just stopped that try there from Tony Kay. He had Tam on his outside.
Tony Kay again breaks down this right-hand side. Doesn't need to be travelling all that fast, but he's leaving the defenders. Centre struggling to get back to him. Decides to go on his own for the corner, and only a good tackle from Riddleston to put him in touch there just before he gets to the line.
And again, a difficult decision there for Mr. Kershaw. But Halifax head and ball. Just over a minute left in this first half. Without tries, but certainly not without try-scoring incidents. I think the tale of this first half, Joe, is the tale of the missed tries, isn't it?
Yeah, that are mistakes, Ray. What have we had now? 4 opportunities to score, but no tries as yet.
And in a semi-final, you've got to take them, haven't you?
Well, you have. If you want to get through to that final, you've got to take every chance given you. Luckily for both sides, they've both been making mistakes and nobody's capitalised yet.
And a good kick there, left-footed, sliced it through Les Holiday there. Halifax ball again. Smith. Little high there by Kay, but nothing malicious. Hetherington. Lyons. McCallion. Milner. Still Halifax relentlessly coming down the middle. Well, a drop goal attempt there by Les Holiday, but I don't think it will be another 6 tackles. No, it isn't. This is the 6th tackle. It accidentally hit Harrison in the face. Moving into injury time now in this first half. Again, a difficult kick, all well taken by Connolly. And under the laws now, when the ball taken in the in-goal area, it's a tap and a penalty. Johnson not retiring 10 yards. That's a good kick from Paul Loughlin. Now have St Helens got the time to get back down to that Halifax try line. We're well into injury time. Bateman. Harrison. There it is. There's the hooter. Halifax 2, St Helens 2, and still show everything to play for.
That's right. The final position at stake. Both teams making mistakes, we said in the first half. Let's just hope.
40 minutes left in this first Regal Trophy semi-final. And I'm sure coach Alex Murphy has had a few warm words to say to his St Helens side. They've really got to throw this ball around more, Joe, haven't they?
They have now. Halifax have got the wind. I'm sure they'll be kicking down to them. St Helens will have to retain possession and, as you say, use the back line more.
And St Helens Bateman driving away. Should we use Bailey as soon as we come back live, Keith? Yeah. To Loughlin. To Mark Bailey, substitute Mark Bailey, number 14, coming on for Jonathan Griffiths. No. Johnston to Brendan Hill. There's Holiday. Again, these Halifax forwards driving down the middle, hoping to create a wedge in this St Helens defence. To Tanner. No way through. Grove sensibly taking the play to the blind side, allowing his pack to regroup. Bailey. And Bailey sensibly holding on there, Joe.
Yeah, we've seen too many mistakes in the first half. I'm sure Alex Murphy has told them in the second half just to control the ball a little better, let the forwards do the driving, and then in the later stages of the game move it out wider.
And a high tackle there by John Doherty, and I think nice to see Mr Kershaw sensibly using his discretion there, not sending Doherty off. I don't think there was anything really malicious about that. Loughlin, sensible kick by Loughlin, guaranteeing that the ball did go into touch, just looking to retain possession, St Helens. Haggerty, that's a good ball. He's got Tommy Fortune with him. But a good tackle there, good covering tackle by Steve Smith. But St Helens on the attack. Forward again, having a good game. Bateman. Ten yards now from this Halifax line. Bailey. And Brendan Hill just picking him up and bringing him back. Well, I think he could pick anything up, this lad. Groves, the dummy. But to no avail. The sixth tackle, and surely someone should have a drop goal. Haggerty is attempting it. Oh, it looks good. It is good. Well, Mr Kershaw's outstretched hand there, Roy Haggerty. The drop goal. He's a well-known exponent of this. And, well, you might as well take them early in the game as late. 3 points to 2 now for St Helens.
Roy Haggerty here, as cool as any centre, I don't know, it's a second row, slots that one over, no trouble.
St Helens, Connolly. Having a very brave game, this lad, 18 years of age. And whatever Connolly seems to be, Alan Hunt seems to be. Harrison. Bateman. And a penalty there for stamping at the play of the ball. Again, another indiscretion at the play of the ball. We must have had a dozen of these penalties now. Mr. Kershaw surely set his stall out at 2:15 when we kicked off. The players really should have learned by now, Joe.
Yes, you think so. St Helens seem to be playing a better style of football now in the second half. They're controlling it a lot better.
Looks to be more confidence.
I'm sure that team talk at half time will have done something towards that.
But having said that, they dropped the ball. Holiday, that's a good pass, and that's a good run. Still going, Doherty. Just couldn't get the ball to Tony Anderson. But it's Halifax now opening out the play. Holiday again, he's the creator. And I think it's this loose forward, number 13, that St Helens have got to pick up. To Doherty. Back to Tony Anderson. Again, another player with heavy strapping there on that left leg, covering a hamstring injury. Holiday, that's a good kick. Young Connolly's underneath, but surely they've encroached the 5 yards. They have. Absolutely right there, the referee. It was a good catch by Connolly, but nevertheless, it's a penalty for St Helens. So, Paul Loughlin. Yes, into the... So, Halifax still on the attack, not a good kick. Good burst by Smith. And suddenly, Joel, the game coming alight.
It is.
And referee Kershaw giving Holiday another kick to the corner. Now then, can Halifax come back? Using the pack. Driving in. The short ball. Brendan Hill's going in. Yes, no, he's not. Oh, credit again to that youngster, Gary Connolly. Saved a certain situation of a try there. The big 18.5-stone lad, Brendan Hill, couldn't get over because young Connolly was underneath him. What a let-off for St Helens.
Well, that was a set move there, bringing Brendan Hill, the big forward, down the blind side and attacking a winger. And Connolly did it amazingly well. He got his body between the ball and the floor, managed to take it off him. Saved a certain try.
Well, I think as Alec Murphy suddenly usually says, he'll get a knighthood for that when he gets back home, Joe. That was a certain try, wasn't it?
We said it was a mismatch in size, but he did tremendously well to cope with the ball.
Holiday. This lets Holiday having a more prominent role, and it's significant, Joe, Halifax playing the blind side all the time now in the second half.
Yeah, I think they've decided that maybe St Helens aren't using the forwards down the blind, and they're running big fellas at him.
Holiday, that's a good kick again. Young Connolly's underneath it, the pressure's there. He's lost it. Well, Mr. Kershaw's not given a try again. That's the 5th try we've had disallowed here. But Mr. Kershaw is adamant. It's a dropout under the post. And they're really bombarding this young lad Connolly with these aerial attempts.
Well, we recorded those first moments of the second half. Let's now go live.
Well, and what moments those were in the first 17 minutes of this half. Excitement, no tries yet. Just that one drop goal from Roy Haggerty that split the difference between these two sides. And one, of course, that hit the post.
The ball, a bit of desperation here, really. They've tried to score and trying to get over the line with a try. They don't succeed, and a drop goal that hits the post there.
So St Helens then surviving there, as they've survived for these 17 minutes in this second half. But can they come back now? Mark Bailey rushing for the ball. Riddlesden. Referee Mr. Kershaw right on the spot there. He's had a lot to do this afternoon. Considerable number of tries disallowed. It's been all Halifax using the big men. And another penalty. Well, Joe, I think you could use this match as an educational film for penalties around the play of the ball.
There's certainly been enough of them, Ray.
And this man, to my mind, doing the dictating now. Les Holiday at loose forward. Been putting the kicks in and putting the short passes. But still, Halifax trailing 3 points to 2. Despite all the pressure of this second half, Saints undefeated in the last 12 matches. And Halifax, I think, showing themselves really to be worth a lot more than their 8th place in the second division would suggest. Dorahy. Anderson. Magnificent defence from St Helens. Coped time and time again. And very often, Joe, in rugby league, if you put the pressure on for 10 or 15 minutes and you don't get the try, very often the game swings the other way, doesn't it?
It does pressure. It swings round and bounces back, and you can, if you can get up the other end of the field and return the pressure, then you usually get the points.
So Hetherington again. Looked dangerous all afternoon, this lad from Illawarra in Australia. Still Les Holiday relentlessly coming the ball to Dorahy, but again a good tackle by Connolly. Still on this corner, Brendan Hill driving forward. They have T-shirts in Halifax made with this lad's face on. They call him the Bulldozer. And has he over there? No. McCallion trying once again from the acting half-back position, just a foot from the Saints line. 20 minutes to go, and still Halifax under pressure. That's a good ball. Eddie Riddlesden's in. Yes! There's the try. Halifax taken that opportunity. It looked a lost ball, but it was picked up there by Steve Smith, the substitute. And Riddlesden got in. 6 points to 3 for second division Halifax. And they've had all the pressure this second half. They've missed a couple of tries, but what delight on that lad Riddlesden's face.
Well, Mick Scott here picks up a beautiful ball there. The substitute throws it a long pass. Riddlesden has been on the ball all afternoon. Manages to squeam and squirm his way to the line. 4 points eventually.
Yes, no problems about that try. We've had our fill of disallowed tries, but Halifax had all the pressure. They've pounded the Saints' lines. Been a magnificent defensive format by Saints, but no stopping this lad. Eddie Riddlesden, only his 4th try this season, but I don't think he'll be bothered about that. And John Dorahy to take the kick. Colin Whitfield, of course, off the field, injured. John, not the regular kicker here at Halifax, only kicked 9 goals this season, but is an accomplished kicker. And a lot of pressure on this Australian player coach. Seeing good service both in Australia, at Hull Kingston Rovers, and now at Halifax. Left-footed. No, right. Oh, just short, just short. He had the action, he had the accuracy, but just short in that wind.
Once again on the replay we see sustained pressure by Halifax. Saints did well to defend here. Mick Scott gets the ball, beautiful pick-up, throws a long pass out, and there's Riddleston in the corner.
Yes, Mick Scott was so nimble there with that ball. I actually, for a second, thought it was the substitute, Steve Smith.
No, beautiful piece of play by Scott.
So, Halifax now in the lead. And what a good game this lad has had. John Lyons spotted the gaps around the captain half-back, and Hill driving forward. One of the cornerstones, I think, of this success so far for Halifax. Scott, probably, Joe, the right type of forward to come on here now. A very experienced lad, isn't he, this number 15, Mick Scott?
That's right. He can calm the situation down a bit. He knows what's wanted from the team to get down into St Helens 25, put some more pressure on.
Tanner. And really, Joe, I think St Helens have got to play the type of rugby that we know they can play. They've not got to get involved in this pack struggle, have they?
No, they've got to get out wide. We mentioned it early on. In fact, in the first half, I think they only accomplished it once, and when they fell out the field, they were looking up to score. That's the kind of football St Helens need to produce if they want to win this semi-final.
Forber. That's a good pass. John Harrison. But no one there, no one in support. It's St Helens' 8th semi-final, but they've never been lucky in these semi-finals. They've only won once. That was in 1988 when they went on to defeat Leeds in the final, but 7 times they've been the losers. And Johnston, line on at the tackle. And if this kick goes into touch from Loughlin, as it does, then St Helens have got to make use of possession, but of course Riddleston touched the ball, so it's a scrum. And 15 minutes to go, 6 points to 3 to Halifax. Brendan Hill just asking for the spot. It's St Helens ball. Bailey comes away with it. Frodsham, the run around. Frodsham again. Halifax centres coming up very, very quickly now. Vivers. Not really got the weight to play loose forward on a day like this, Joe, has he, Phil Vivers?
Not really, but he has the experience and he's a good footballer. And if he can just bring some of the bigger guys off him, then I'm sure he'll make a dent in this Halifax defence.
That's a good ball. Oh, I think the ball was sprised out of Tommy Frodsham's hand there. He was looking for the pass, but I think it was cleverly pinched. And every time St Helens put the pressure on Halifax, they let it go. And back come Halifax with these 1-2-man forward probes. There's a good break again from John Lyons. Time and time again this little scrum half has come out. Les Holiday to Scott. That's good rugby. Dorahy to Hetherington. And in fact it's Halifax who are throwing this ball about the better now. Holiday again, another testing kick. And it's a dropout, Mr. Kershaw indicating that Alan Hunt touched it before it went dead. And those kicks here from this man Holiday, they're really punishing Saints. And you can see the strength of the wind. Now then, Hill getting up steam, 18.5 stone, crashing in. And all credit there to the Beavers. I said he didn't have the weight, but a good tackle. Still Halifax. Hill again. The battering ram, the bulldozer as they call him.
This must be like trying to stop the truck on an incline when this Hill gets the ball.
And there's Holiday. And it's this big pack that's causing the problems. McCallion again, bringing the pack in. Johnston, Scott, a knock-on. And it was a good job for St Helens that it was a knock-on, because John Doherty knows well he had a 3-to-1 overlap there. Halifax crowd singing now, roaring their side on, 6 points to 3. 12 minutes left for St Helens to get back. A place in the final against the winners of Wigan or Castleford. Vivas. Saints having great difficulty really breaking through these forwards, Joe, aren't they?
Yeah, they've been pinned down here far too long, really, for their own good. This is the kind of break they need to get out of it, though.
But that's the wrong pass. Tony Anderson. I don't think St Helens have actually played through 6 tackles more than, what, a couple of times.
I can't remember it, Ray, and that's what they need to do. They need to settle down. Even though they're behind, they need to just consolidate the possession they have for a while and then try and put some points on the board.
Doherty to Smith. It's been all defence for St Helens. None tackled better than that lad there, Andy Bateman. Holiday again, sending these 2 prop forwards. Whatever Holiday is, we see Johnson and Hill either side of him, running onto the passes. Oh, and it's Halifax away again. Richard Milner still going. It must be on a try. He is. Big Scott's over. And with just over 11 minutes to go, surely Halifax now must be thinking that they've provided the shock of the season. Mick Scott. This lad retired 12 months ago. He was persuaded to come back, and now he takes Halifax's lead out to 10 points to 3. Wonderful support play there.
A great try. Here we have Milner running in, bounces off a tackle, pops it inside to Scott. It was there for the first try, and there he is for the second.
And there was certainly no stopping that lad, Mick Scott. When he saw the line, he went for glory. And surely now Halifax must be relishing the prospects of appearing in the final. Standing in 8th place in the 2nd division.
McCallion from Acton halfback. Lovely short ball. There's Milner, bounces off the tackle of Connolly, slips inside ball to Scott, and as you say, once he sees that white line, there's no stopping him.
And another difficult kick for Les Holiday. No, but I don't think he'll be too concerned. They've got that magical 7-point difference, 10 points to 3 for Halifax. And St Helens now with everything to do. They've really got to throw caution to the wind now. St Helens have got to move this ball at every opportunity. They've got to launch these 2 wings. And they've got to bring this man kicking off. They've got to bring Paul Loughlin into play. Because certainly I can't see any way, other than this man having possession, other than the wings getting possession, that St Helens pack is going to win this game.
Well, Halifax must remember that, because they can do it. St Helens can come from behind, they can score from any part of the field, and if they can just get a little bit of confidence, keep possession, then it's possible.
So 9 minutes to go, and Scott now running like the youngster, which he won't mind me saying he is not.
I'm glad you said that, Ray, not me.
Gary Connolly, at least one St Helens lad who's had a good game. Very brave performance, especially under the high kicks, and good tackles too. Hunt. Halifax, recent Challenge Cup and Championship winners in recent seasons, and still in the second division, averaging crowds of about 7,000. Good support here across the Pennines in bad weather this morning. Now St Helens beginning to move it. To Bailey. Frodsham can't handle it. Put the knock on. And a welcome hander from Brendan Hill for Tommy Frodsham. Played in a good spirit this match. Been some fierce tackling, some ferocious charges. A little bit of Christmas spirit still around. Lyons. To Holiday. St Helens assistant coach to Alex Murphy, Frank Barrow, felt that man Holiday could be the danger. He was in charge of him when he was at Swinton, and he has been the danger. Johnston again, oh, crashing through, looks for the support, he finds it, to Hetherington. St Helens beginning to tire, they've received a buffeting, they've received a battering with this pack. To Hill. Still playing left to right, Holiday. McCallion, will he go himself? The little grubber. Oh, well stopped. Well stopped. But still it's a drop out beneath the post, so the pressure still on. St Helens just can't escape this pressure, Joe, because they can't mount the pack, can they?
That's right, it's the right tactics Halifax are using. Even if they're not getting the points when they get down there, they're putting the short kicks in or the bombs, and then St Helens have to kick back to them and they retain the possession.
But that was a good kick for St Helens. They retained the possession. It only has to go 10 yards. Just 6 minutes to go. St Helens needing 7 points to draw level. It needs a flash of inspiration. It needs some play. Harrison. Had a good game since he came on, this substitute, John Harrison. Oh, and that was a shock. Tommy Frodsham wasn't expecting that ball, but certainly the Halifax defender was. Mick Scott. Very good substitution this by John Doherty. Laughlin. And I think that sums up this game, Joe, doesn't it? Saints gone through to the sixth tackle, never moved out of the 25-yard area.
That's right, Ray. You know, if you want to score points, you can't spend the time in your own 25. You've got to get out there, either throw it out to the backs or put some longer kicks in and get up there into the Halifax's half.
Paul Groves putting the tackle in. Halifax have won this trophy before. They won the first trophy ever played for in 1972 against Wakefield. Only the third semi-final appearance, however. Tanner. Haggerty. Forber. This type of short ball now really not doing St Helens much good. They've got to get out of this very muddy patch down here. There's only 4 minutes left. Will put to touch. No, well kept in. To Scott. Oh, that's a risky pass at this stage of the game to Hetherington. And it's a forward pass now then. It should be St Helens head and ball. A risky pass, Joe. He really should have held on and played the 6 tackles, shouldn't he?
He should. And then the kick down the field. But this is Saint's chance now to put some points on the board from this scrum. A set move, hopefully.
Just coming up to 3 minutes. St Helens in possession. They must score. Tony Kay. Look promising, Tony Kay in the centre. Look, one player who has the pace to go. Lachlan to Harrison. Saints now edging forward. Forber. This is better from St Helens. At least they're holding the ball. They're driving forward. And a penalty. Another 6 tackles. It needs the quick tap. He does. Groves. Oh, looking for support. He doesn't find it. Sure, there could have been a try there if someone had been on Paul Groves' shoulder. Haggerty. No way through. Halifax tackling for dear life now. That's a long ball to Hunt. Hunt. Good run. And still Saints attacking, still Saints pressing. 2 yards now from this line. But of course St Helens needs 7 points. Another 6 tackles.
This is the pressure that St Helens have needed throughout the game. May come a little bit too late, but let's hope they can get some points on the board here. Well, another penalty.
And another 6 tackles. Forber, Bateman. Tremendous pressure here, but is it too late? We're just coming up to a minute left in this match. Haggerty. Frodsham. Harrison. Bailey. Vivers. Here's a chance. Oh, he's going in. He's over. Yes! St Helens in the dying seconds. Andy Bateman has scored. But are they 2-3 points adrift? 10 points to 7 now for Halifax. 30 seconds of normal time left. And the goal kick to come. So, Bateman brought St Helens back into the game there. Lachlan to take the kick. Desperately needs these 2 points to get them. It's 10 points to 9 now for Halifax. People waiting expectantly for the hooter. We make it now, coming up to injury time. And there it is, there is no injury time, it's too late. It's Halifax. Halifax have won. Just look at the joy on those faces. This morning they said they wanted a good performance, and they've got it. Their first final appearance since the inaugural one in this competition back in 1972, and only the 3rd side from the 2nd division ever to reach a final in the Regal Trophy. They follow in the footsteps of Hull and Blackpool Borough, and their coach John Doherty, he's brought them to form right at the moment, and I don't suppose he'll be too bothered tonight if he plays. A man of the match there, Les Holliday, number 13. He put the high kicks in, and it's the crowd, the Halifax fans, they're absolutely delighted. What a Christmas Eve they'll have tonight, Joe.
Well, they deserve to celebrate after that performance. As you say, Holliday, man of the match. Well supported by Lyons, I thought, and Doherty. St Helens are coming off. They're dejected, obviously.
Yeah.
I think Gary Connolly probably their best player, but it was typified that they were under so much pressure that he had to be.
Certainly Gary Connolly, Tony Kay, I don't think anyone can fault those performances. Paul Forber tried hard, Alan Hunt did, but these lads have won it from the second division. The spirits, the fire and the grit, and what a smile there on Lindsay Johnson's face. And Eddie Riddlesden, the man who put them in the lead with that try. He played Snow White in that concert on Thursday night, but I think it was his Seven Dwarfs. That's 6 men from the Halifax pack that's done the trick here this afternoon. And Colin Whitfield only on the field for 40 minutes, but I'm sure he'll be hoping to be fit for that final on January the 13th. And what a final I think it's going to be in prospect, because at least we know one finalist, Halifax, and sooner or later next week on Grandstand we have Wigan playing Castleford, and I think we'll know those. And certainly they had a struggle against Leeds on Thursday night, but what a try it was that